There's so many principles here that are applicable to life, not just our business, but to life. We wish we'd have known these when we were in high school and college. Most young people write a resume and they send it out to whoever's has job openings, versus we teach them a different system. So instead of waiting to be chosen, they're the ones that are doing the choosing. It is by far the most rewarding to see the change in their vision. It's remarkable.
Good day, everyone. This is Dr. David Phelps with the Freedom Founders Mastermind Community and Dentist Freedom Blueprint podcast. We talk a lot on this podcast about ROI, return on investment. And yes, that's something we all want to look at in many ways in our lives, certainly financially, but also how we get the return on investment from what we invest in our businesses and in people. Today, I want to talk about investing in a certain segment of our population. And I think this is important to everybody. It certainly has become more important in my life, and that is the lessons I've learned, many, and most of them the hard way, but certainly finding great people to surround myself with, mentors, and finding that the ability to give back to other people, and particularly younger people who are the next generations coming up, is something that I love to do. With me today, our guest today is my good friend, and many of you know him, Stephen J. Anderson. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm better now that I'm talking to you, David. Every time we get together, we always run out of time. So I am eager to get rolling, and thank you for the time today.
I'm going to relate back to particularly the event that I was honored and privileged to participate in, which is something you've been doing for like several decades, which is Eagle University. I think that was founded back in the 1990s with you and your cohort at that time, Walter Haley. So much history there. A lot of people don't remember or just remember the name Walter and Steve and the boot camps that ran for many years. And
now
Steve is, I believe you call yourself the Chief Culture Officer, if I've got that right, of TOPS.
Chief Creative Officer.
Creative Officer. Okay, it was CCO, so I grabbed culture, but creative, I'll go with that because you are certainly that. So total patient service, and many ancillary businesses or nonprofits you serve in so many ways, and I know this is who you are inherently. This is the culture from which you grew up in, and you continue to serve in so many ways. And Eagle University was something that I believe came out of the request, if I'm not mistaken, of many of the doctors, the business owners who you were serving back in the day, and said, hey, these natural laws of human behavior, which is essentially what you and Walter have been teaching, because that's the crux of, if we're going to be successful in the right, we want to be successful in life and build businesses and have impact, and whatever our mission is, that's what it comes down to. So many of your clients said, is there something for our kids? Because, I think these are lessons that they could use, many things that we missed along the way somehow. And that's how it started. So why don't you give us a little bit of that background on Eagle University?
Yeah, so yeah, you're spot on, David. This came out of a request from business owners, dentists that we had worked with, and they came to us after going through some of the education and the seminars we had, and they said there's so many principles here that are applicable to life, not just our business, but to life. And now looking at these, we wish we'd have known these when we were in high school and college and earlier on, because we could have applied them that much earlier. And so that's where the original idea came from. And we had a member of our team that actually had a high school college student at the time who kind of latched onto this idea, and she came into me and she said, this is a really interesting idea, and what do you think? And all I could think, David, was 200 high school and college students under my responsibility for a week. That sounded like a really bad idea. And so I was trying to, I just said, interesting idea. Why don't you do a survey? Why don't you kind of query people, maybe what they would want based on their experience, what they would want their young people to learn, and let's see what they have to say. And so she did. She came back about month and a half later, and she goes, great. She goes, look, I did the survey just like you said, and it went so well. She said, we have 50 high school and college students that will be here in 60 days. I've already collected the tuition, and here's what their parents want them to learn. And so, true story. It was she kind of subscribed to the it's easier to get forgiveness than permission,
Right.
and that was the birth of what we now call Eagle University. The name is in contrast to Turkey Kindergarten, right? So eagles are the high flyers; they're the ones with vision. So it's an icon, especially in our culture, of high aspirations, and so that's why we call it Eagle. For that image, and university, high level of learning. And so it's packed, as you know, with a week's worth. We do it in a week, but it's a lifetime's worth of ideas, techniques, and systems that we have been able to show over the decades will help a young person get what we say a 7-year head start on their career. And there's a reason why we say the 7 years, but excuse me, it is common sense things when you learn it, go, oh, of course, but uncommonly practiced.
Right.
And that's the whole deal, is if they'll implement them early on, then they'll get extraordinary results that would, typically takes the average person years to figure it out. We try and instill that early on in a lot of different ways. Academically, in terms of career goals, mentors, we talk about how to get a job, the job of your choice without using a resume.
Yes.
We talk about how to study less and make better grades. Things like this that are like, when you hear them at face value, you go, wait, what? But they're proven systems to do this. And it's not just me. I mean, we've got a whole faculty of proven performers like yourself. You were on our faculty this year. Thank you very much. Talking about financial literacy and the things that learned and applied early on can contribute to a huge gain later on in life.
So that people know a lot of what is taught, these natural laws of behavior. A couple of books that you have written, which I love, and people would like to get these, to pass on. I think they're great books for any team and culture, right? I mean, it's what you use inside of TOPS. But the culture of success, I've got it right here: 10 natural laws for creating the place where everyone wants to work. And then the follow-up, which again, love this one, which we all got this year. Nearly everything I learned in kindergarten screwed me up. The antithesis to Fulgham's book. But
can I add one more to it,
yeah,
Dave?
Yeah.
So this is the textbook for parents that send their kids to Eagle U. So, beautiful. And this actually came out of our first 14 years of doing the program. So it's called The 13 Biggest Mistakes Parents Make and How to Avoid Them. And it is 13 things that show up repeatedly over and over and over as we've worked with high school and college students that are going on at home that, if corrected, would create a more positive trajectory. And it's filled with everything's like, well, how do where does motivation come from? How do you motivate a high school or college student? It talks about and a lot of things, very, very basic common sense, but things that have come from them that we've learned from their experience, from what's happening at home, that could create a better environment. We joke about this, David, and I'll be very, very upfront about this, is the parents that we've worked with over the years, they kind of laugh and say, yeah, I send them to Eagle U for you to tell them what I've been trying to tell them for years.
Yes.
And there's some truth to that.
Yes.
The truth is the truth, and the source matters. A lot of times when they hear it from a different source, and what I hear from parents a lot is, when I send my young person to Eagle U, I got a lot smarter in their eyes. Mom and
Absolutely.
Dad become a lot smarter because they'll come home and they say, Dad, yeah, I met this guy who said he knows you. His name's David Phelps, and he taught me how to invest and save my money and doing the whole deal. And your clients are going, yeah, that's what I've told them, same thing, but they hear it from a different source, then it resonates, and that's that's one of the key principles is birds of a feather flock together. We talk about this
Yes.
and flocking causes birds to be of the feather. It's who they hang out with. So yes, and this is the most inspiring part of this experience for me is this, when we do Eagle U, it's the hardest work I do personally all year. It's early in the morning till late at night. It's teenagers who, some of them walk in maybe kind of wondering what they've gotten themselves into. And it is by far the most rewarding to see the change in their vision and what they see as being possible. It's remarkable what happens when they get surrounded by good mentors, and we surround them with amazing mentors. That's a big theme of the week, and good positive peers and great team leaders. It's amazing to watch how the vision rises, how their expectations of themselves change and evolve and improve. It is an amazing just whole process to watch.
Well, that's certainly what I found. I was inspired to see the culture and how quickly. I think I was there by day 2, so you'd have them for a day or so. And I know you've got returnees. In fact, the thing I love too is you've empowered some that have wanted to come back and act as mentors within their
Right.
group of peers, right? And so
That's right.
so they've got leaders from within, so empowering leaders from within. And it's difficult today. We all know as parents that the culture that society has created by default, if we allow that to become the mode for our kids, the ones that we want to give guidance to, that's going to go awry all day long, because social media, peer pressure out in that world, it is difficult to be willing to be different and go against the grain. Yet when you have assimilated and aggregated as you have done over the years with Eagle U, those kids who are maybe tempted to follow the wrong crowd, to be with the wrong group, to flock with the wrong feathers, they can quickly see that this is a place to go, and they've seen the mentors who are there that you curate a great group from all across the country who come volunteer to come to be there during that week or during the day when the students are going table to table. It was so inspiring, and you set them up for success. But the whole week I was there and got to look at the curriculum and how you guide them through areas, as you said, goal setting, core values, personality profiles, how to relate to different kinds of people because we're all different, right? Time management, interview questions. I was so impressed. Of course, I got to watch the work you did the day before. You were setting them up. So here's what you do. Here's how you do the research. You're going to research the mentor or mentors you'll be in front of. Here's the research. You learn to control the conversation by asking questions, not talking, not telling. Again, as you said, common sense, but how much common sense is really put into common practice today? And these young people are getting such a step up to go out in the world and be ahead of the large group as a whole when they're looking for ways to enter their career, the marketplace, how to position themselves, how to, again, throw out this resume. How do you stand out just right there with the stack, that people are looking at, and how are you going to be different, right? Just the skill sets you were providing me was amazing. I loved every moment of it. It was fantastic.
I'll tell you a big part of it, David, as you know, I'm a bit of a contrarian, just kind of by nature. I'm wired that way, and a big part of this is it's not about necessarily good and bad, or we get outstanding students that come to this. I mean, this is not a reform deal. In fact, just as a quick side note, you'll appreciate this because of our long history. We made the mistake early on. We called our first program Youth Boot Camp, and we had young people that came just like heartbroken. They go, "What did I do to deserve to come here?" Because boot camp for young people is like a reform deal.
Right.
We changed the name real quick to Eagle U. So these are out. These are good. Good students. That we're not talking about. Trying to reform their lives. They're on a good trajectory. They're doing well. We're going to put them on a great trajectory. So here's you know, the old analogy about, you know, the airplane, and if it flies 2 degrees different, that by the time it, you know, gets 1,000 miles out, it's 2 different spots on the earth. Here's the difference is most people, just as one example, most young people write a resume and they send it out to whoever's, you know, has job openings, and they become a product of the system, right? They're basically laying themselves out there and say, somebody please come pick me up. Versus we teach them a different system where they're in control of the system. So instead of waiting to be chosen, they're the ones that are doing the choosing. They can take control of their direction, where they go, and it's a very, very different approach, and it's 10 times more effective because they can get through doors that would never be open through the traditional job search process. And we've seen this over and over and over again, where they take control of it the way we show them how to do it, and they get offers, they get opportunities that would never have been offered out there to the public. It's a totally different process when it applied. So that's why I get so fired up about it, because when I see the results that come back when they apply it in grades, just the way that they're taught to study is very different than the way they're taught in school. Saves them time, helps them get better grades, creates a whole different result. Just all of these different areas, it has the potential to take something good and make it great.
If you enjoyed watching or learning from this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. If you have a question about any of my content or this specific video, just please leave a comment down below. And as always, stay focused on your freedom. I'll see you next time.